Ducati is at a major crossroads. On the one hand, they have two-time world champion Pecco Bagnaia, who has led the Borgo Panigale factory to MotoGP glory. On the other hand, they are witnessing the emergence of a new star, Pedro Acosta, the Spanish prodigy whose aggressive style and killer instinct are shaking up the racing world and bringing back memories of Marc Marquez in his early days. Ducati is reportedly considering Acosta as a replacement for Bagnaia. Is that really the case? Let's discuss. Pecco Bagnaia's situation this season is far from ideal. After his dominant 2023 season, which included 11 wins, he became a symbol of Ducati's glory, and expectations for him skyrocketed. Many people, both within the team and among observers, hope that Pecco will be the only serious challenger to Marc Marquez, who is now performing exceptionally well on the Ducati Desmosedici GP25. However, the reality on the track tells a different story. In the first 6 races of the 2025 season, Bagnaia's performance was concerning. He seemed to have lost his touch, his rhythm was inconsistent, and he struggled to find the confidence that had been his strength. Not only did he struggle to match Marquez's speed, but he also had to concede Alex Marquez's superiority several times. Marquez was riding an older version of the motorcycle on the Gresini Racing satellite team. The peak of disappointment occurred at the French Grand Prix. Instead of closing the points gap with his main rival, Bagnaia fell further behind. Now, he must catch up to Marc Marquez, who has a 51-point lead in the standings, a significant gap, especially considering that the 2025 season has not even reached its midpoint. This situation has begun to spark internal discussions in the Ducati camp. Trust in Bagnaia's leadership of the factory project is beginning to waver. If this negative trend continues, big decisions may be made sooner than expected. Ducati Lenovo team manager Davide Tardozzi expressed concerns from within the Italian factory team. In his latest statement to the media, Tardozzi highlighted the rapidly developing dynamics of the 2025 MotoGP competition, which are progressing faster than Pecco Bagnaia's current ability to adapt and improve his performance. The Desmosedici GP25 bike has improved slightly compared to the 2024 version. Meanwhile, our rivals, especially the young riders and, of course, Marc Marquez, are much faster. The situation is not ideal. We need Pecco to take a bigger step, even if it means exceeding his limits, Tardozzi said in an exclusive interview with Crash.net. Tardozzi also dismissed the notion that Bagnaia's performance has declined due to the pressure of having Marc Marquez as a teammate. He emphasized that the internal relationship within the Ducati garage is solid, and there is no open conflict that could trigger team drama. Pecco and Marc still shake hands and chat in the paddock. There is no Cold War or significant tension. But what is worrying is that Pecco has not been completely open. He hasn't wanted to clearly talk about what's really bothering him this season, said Tardozzi, one of the most vocal and influential figures in the pit lane. Nevertheless, Tardozzi did not hide the fact that his confidence in Bagnaia's abilities had begun to waver slightly. Inconsistent performances and difficulty competing at the front have raised big questions from within the team and among observers. Pedro Acosta's name is now the hottest commodity in the MotoGP rider transfer market. Despite his young age, Acosta has demonstrated exceptional talent, leaving top team officials both anxious and tempted. With his aggressive racing style, sharp instincts for reading situations on the track, and extraordinary adaptability in the premier class, Acosta is like a raw diamond being sharpened, and he's now starting to shine perfectly. It's no surprise that several big factory teams are showing interest. Ducati and Honda, two major MotoGP powers, are said to have given heart-shaped looks to Acosta, a phrase used by Sky Italia to describe their enthusiasm. This interest was made clearer after Acosta's impressive performance with Red Bull Gasca's Tech 3, the KTM satellite team that was his first home in the premier class. However, bringing in Pedro Acosta will not be easy. He is under contract with KTM until the end of the 2026 season, and the Austrian manufacturer seems reluctant to release its valuable asset. KTM knows that Acosta is not just an asset for the future. He is a symbol of hope and revival and a key player in the battle for dominance in MotoGP. Anyone who wants him must be ready for a long, strategic, and expensive battle. In the current Ducati rider power map, almost all seats for the 2026 season appear to be filled. However, one empty space remains, leaving a big question mark: Franco Morbidelli's spot on the VR46 satellite team. Rumors about Pedro Acosta joining have begun to spread widely in the paddock because of this gap. VR46, known for its close relationship with the Bologna-based manufacturer, has reportedly communicated informally with Acosta and his management team twice. One meeting took place in a relaxed yet meaningful atmosphere at the 100 km dei Campioni event at Valentino Rossi's ranch, a meeting that sparked speculation. However, VR46 team principal Lucio Salucci was quick to quell the news, saying, "We did talk, but it was nothing more than a casual conversation. We did talk, but it was nothing more than a casual conversation. We still want to keep Franco. He's a fantastic guy, and he's performing well," Lucio said. And it's true. Morbidelli has undergone an extraordinary transformation this season, securing 2 podiums and consistently finishing in the top 4. This revival has surprised many, considering his difficult adaptation in previous seasons. However, in the world of MotoGP, performance is not the only determining factor. Loyalty and good relationships are sometimes not enough to secure a spot, especially when extraordinary young talents like Pedro Acosta are free to decide their futures. If Ducati runs out of options in its factory and Pramac teams, VR46 could be Acosta's last chance. That's when Morbidelli's situation could change drastically, from beloved to threatened. The question now looms large. Could the rumor that Pedro Acosta will move to Ducati to replace Pecco Bagnaia really come true? Technically and contractually, that scenario is very unlikely. KTM is clearly reluctant to let go of Acosta, whom they consider to be the future of their project. Conversely, Ducati currently has an excess of riders and a lack of empty seats among their satellite teams. VR46 has also signaled its intention to keep Franco Morbidelli, who is considered to have great untapped potential. However, if Bagnaia's performance continues to decline and he does not immediately reverse his negative trend, it is possible that Ducati management will reconsider the direction of their long-term project. The world champion's future could be shaken by the desire to bring in fresher, more aggressive young talent. On the other hand, Ducati still has internal options. Jorge Martin and Enea Bastianini are still on their radar. However, both riders have issues, ranging from personal relationship issues with management to uncertainty over their future contracts. One thing is increasingly clear, though: Ducati's interest in Acosta is not just an exaggerated rumor. It signals a fundamental change in the Borgo Panigale factory's philosophy, shifting from maintaining loyalty and stability to a new, more aggressive strategy of hunting for explosive young talent that can guarantee future glory. Although MotoGP 2025 has only completed 6 rounds, the atmosphere inside the Ducati garage is already heating up as if a big storm were approaching. The tension can no longer be hidden. Marc Marquez's extraordinary rise, Pecco Bagnaia's stagnant performance, and Pedro Acosta's growing appeal have created an internal dynamic full of pressure and uncertainty. All eyes are now on Bologna. Amidst the constant speculation and rumors, Ducati's decision on who will lead their team next season is in the spotlight. If the rumors are true, then we are witnessing the beginning of a major transition, the end of the Bagnaia era and the rise of a potential new dynasty led by Pedro Acosta. Will that actually happen? Or will Ducati maintain the status quo and risk the future for loyalty to the past? Share your thoughts.